All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob for Smirking Gun Reviews, and we are at the season 1 finale of The Man in the High Castle. It's called A Way Out, so spoilers ahead if you haven't seen the episode. This is a pretty good season finale, but what I want to say a few things just about this show. We always say we want original things. We always say we want things that we've never seen before. And so when they took the original story from Philip K. Dick and made this into a show, you can't get much more unique, an original kind of show than this kind of high concept show. Problem is, it doesn't seem like anybody watches it. The people that do really appreciate it. I can tell by some of the people that have commented. And it just sucks because maybe it's because it's on Amazon Prime, but there's a ton of people that have Amazon Prime, so why isn't anybody watching this, really? I don't know the numbers. Maybe I'm wrong. But I want to also say, maybe one of the things that is keeping this from being a great show is it's in the actual execution of it. Now, while the concept of this is very high and original, one of the problems that it struggles with is predictability. And the things that you think are going to happen pretty much do. If you've watched a lot of television like I have over the years, you begin to be able to see how things are, normally play out. In a scene of high tension where you're waiting, where somebody's about to die or is in mortal danger, all you're really doing, they get the music up, they get everything else, but really all you're doing is building yourself up for tension that leads to nothing because there's always a last second rescue kind of situation. People that watch if you're a person on death row waiting for that call from the governor, you know what I mean? That's the kind of tension it builds up. But when you're on death row, usually that call's never coming. You're not getting rescued. But on TV, they always give you that last second rescue. That last second thing that pulls away the tension, makes you supposed to be relieved, when really we've seen it so many times that I feel like it's just false tension. And the reason is because nobody takes any chances. And this show really doesn't take that many big chances when it comes to the execution of its story. Because, so minor spoiler if you haven't seen, season 1 of Game of Thrones. You got this story where you're following this main guy, Ned Stark. Now, there's a whole bunch of other people, but he's your hero. He's your lead guy. He's the guy that's on the posters and stuff. And then they kill him in episode 9, the penultimate episode. They kill the lead character. They kill the hero, and everybody's like, no, because they're building up that tension, right? They get him on the block. He confesses. You think, oh God, he's not going to die. They're not going to die. They made this plan, right? So they're going to tell him that he's off the hook and he has to go to the wall or whatever. But no, instead, the twist is the King Joffrey decides to kill the guy, going against everybody's deals. That nobody saw coming. Holy shit, they just killed him. And that tension they built up was, oh my God. And they do that quite a bit on Game of Thrones, where they just make you go, oh my God. Because they take chances on that show. I'm not saying that this show needs to be Game of Thrones, but there were multiple storylines going on here where everything, between Inspector Keto, who is now expected to kill himself because he hasn't brought the killer to justice. Now, they do find the guy that did the assassination, which it wasn't Ed. It was just some fucking guy, some Nazi. See, again, they just go with a random dude. And they just execute him without anything. And now there's no proof, and he's still prepared to kill himself. And so he's sitting there, ready to kill himself. Then you've also got Smith, who's on the hunting trip with Reinhardt. And the whole tension is building of, okay, who's gonna die here? Because somebody's gonna die here. But you're already thinking like, well, it's not gonna be our main guy, right? It's not gonna be Rufus Sewell, right? You've also got Joe and Juliana and the whole thing with them, where the resistance wants her to lead Joe into a trap so that they can kill him. And so they lead him, eventually after everything that goes on, and I'll get into more detail, but like nothing ever happens with any of these scenes. No chance is taken on anything. Even the last bit with the Fuhrer, with Wagner, who I like a lot as a character because he's a bad person that's trying to do good now. He's your redeeming character. And so the only chance they took there, okay, it wasn't a chance because he was walking into a suicide mission. So let's get into the story and then I'll talk about like what I really mean here. Okay, so they the resistance wants Juliana. Joe and Frank and Juliana finally have it out. They tell him, we know you're a Nazi. Frank tries to beat the shit out of him. And, they give him the film and they let him go. They tell him, you're a Nazi. Ed gets caught with the gun in the gun factory because story. I have to be clumsy. Whoops. Oh, what's that? And instead of like running, he just lets himself get taken. Like, this is the gun? Like, these are just factory workers like him. He could have bolted, but no, he lets himself get taken because Ed's, I don't know what, super, he's the Ned Stark of this, I guess. He's the honorable man who's going to take the fall for everybody. And, let's see, honestly, let's just not go into all the little stupid details because there's a lot of things like, I gotta make a phone call. Is it Ed? Is it Ed was it Ed? Yes, of course it was Ed. Let's see, what else do we got here? Well, I do like Smith at the beginning loading up his gun, telling his wife, if the worst thing happens and I don't come back, don't let Reinhardt near the children, and gives her a gun. That's pretty good. Joe waiting in the embassy, waiting for Smith, and then finding out later that he's not coming and that the person he's dealing with is working for Reinhardt and they're going to kill him. And so he has to get out of there. But again, why didn't this guy take him all the way to the basement to make sure he got there? Because they needed him to escape. So rather than have him take him down there, right? And then Joe figuring out right before, things go bad that this isn't going to go his way. He could have turned and knocked out or killed the guy somehow. There's always ways to do that. But instead the guy just goes, no, down there. Like Robert De Niro in Goodfellas when he's telling Bracco to go down to the place to get the clothes. And he's just like, nah, I got down there. He doesn't follow her or nothing. He doesn't make sure she gets there. He lets her go and look into that room and go, oh, fuck, I'm going to get killed, and run away. So it's just that same kind of situation where you put it, the writer, I don't understand. If you want him to escape, there's cooler ways to do it and less stupid ways to make your villain look dumb, because these guys aren't dumb. They're highly paranoid and they kill anybody all the time. So I just, so he escapes, he sees Juliana, they go. And that's where you get to the whole, they're going to kill him. She finally leads him to the, get killed. You got Tagomi, who's basically just kind of saying, fuck it. He's got people breathing down his neck because he hired Juliana. He's canceling meetings. He's just kind of resigned himself to whatever. His assistant keeps telling him to meditate. And I might as well just get to that part. He goes to this park, he starts meditating, and all of a sudden he opens his eyes, and he's in 1960s America. Basically our reality. Now it is one of the most super in your face, you're in an America that didn't lose the war, because Holy crap, could you hit him in the face with more Americana? You got freaking. Okay, they did add, there were things in there that just you wouldn't expect, like a poster for Lolita. You got Ronald Reagan. So you got a poster for a movie about a guy that wants to fuck a kid. And then you got Ronald Reagan up in another poster. You got somebody in Mary Wells. You got a sign that's saying that Mandela's been taken. Like, this thing's like all over the map in just one shot. Oh, and they're just selling like Red Hots. And like playing Let's Twist Again. Like, that is just a fucking kaleidoscope of Americana insanity that this guy's just like, whoa. They couldn't have been a little more subtle about it. You didn't have to go that far. But anyway, so that's him. He's in another alternate reality, sort of. Well, they'll explain. This will go into great more detail in season 2. So let's get to what I really have been talking about earlier. And that's the just nothing is really surprising. They don't shake the trees up really at all. So let's go down to Juliana and Joe, where she's about to lead him to his death. He realizes that he's about to die. And then he does his, like, I'm a changed man. She says, I believe you, and lets him go. So, instead of taking a chance and just having Joe accept his fate and get killed, she lets him bounce for the continuation of the story. So that they don't lose one of their actors, right? Then you have Ed, poor Ed, who, is not executed yet, but takes the fall for Frank. And Frank runs into the Kempetai place. I'm here, I'm Spartacus. To take the fall, and of course, they don't care. They've got their man. But why wouldn't they just go, let him go. We got Frank. But again, story. Let's get rid of DJ Qualls because we really don't need him. We can make him a patsy. I don't understand why they needed the gun that had been... They could have made up all sorts of shit. But it had to be this specific guy. I don't get that. Again, pretty standard. Somebody takes the fall for it. Then, before he comes in, and Keto is going to kill himself. Again, creating tension. That the cop, you can call him a bad guy. He does bad things, but he's like so interesting. He's so hardcore. But now he's going to kill himself because that's how hardcore he is. And instead of letting him do this, all it is all of a sudden, again, somebody comes in at the last second and saves his life by saying, we found the gun. Let him kill himself. Have people go, holy shit, he really did it. And then the guy would come in late and say, he didn't have to. I had the gun. Again, no chance taken there. Because they want the character to go on. We don't want to shake the trees. We don't want to shake things up too much. Then we get to Overgrubenführer Smith, who is being read out there by, this show's version of Christoph Waltz. And he's got his manservant with the other rifle. And you know what's happening here. Even Smith knows he's being let out to probably die. Reinhardt wants to see if he's on his side because he's got this plan to get Wegner to kill the Fuhrer up in his little, fortress of solitude. And it's basically just a question and answer of whether or not he's going to kill Smith or not. And they're waiting for the phone call from Wegner at Hitler's fortress to say that he killed the Fuhrer. And it's great acting here being done by Rufus Sewell and everything, trying to get more information from Reinhardt about who's involved, blah, 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 because if I'm going to do this, I want to know that, whatever. But you slide to Hitler's bunker, castle, and he's watching a film where Berlin fell, what we know. And it turns out that he knows everything. He's probably he's probably got a film on it. And so he tells Wegner, if you don't go through with this, I'll spare your kids, which is all really he wanted. I mean, they were going to kill him, his family if he didn't go along with killing him. Now the Fuhrer is letting his kids live if he doesn't go through with killing him, because he knows everybody's trying to kill him. And so when the phone rings and Reinhardt thinks it's Wagner calling that he killed the Fuhrer, instead it's Hitler telling Reinhardt, like, whoopsie, bitch. You got played, sucker. Wish he would have said that. That would have been hilarious. So Wagner kills himself, and all of a sudden Nazis start firing. They take out, Christoph Waltz's, the little sidekick of his. I wanted to call him Odd Job for some reason, like the James Bond villain. And then Smith turns his gun and shoots Reinhardt. And again, they had this good tension-filled thing, and then Wagner's now dead. Hitler's been playing everybody, and now if your big twist is that Hitler knew the whole time that they were trying to kill him, and all you lose is Wagner, who was a very interesting and redeeming hero, and the traitor of Reinhardt. Two people that, I would have liked to have seen Wagner go on, but Reinhardt's just one of those typical characters you expect to die. And since there's so many situations here where they didn't take a chance, it's kind of like no wonder people don't watch this show sometimes, in some form. If something like this becomes too formulaic and too predictable and too cliche, if you've got this great high concept but you don't take chances with it, you're missing out on an opportunity. Now, maybe I never read the book. I knew about it. I heard the story. I thought it was interesting, but it's, whatever. But when you have this chance to do something different and you don't take the opportunities to freak the audience out, to keep us on our toes, to live in a world like this that's not safe, it should feel a little less safe for everybody. There should be consequences to this. And when your heroes are the least interesting characters, because let's look at this, okay? Juliana and Frank and Joe are just cookie cutter garden variety. They're on a lot. They remind me of pretty much every kind of hero on a TV show, where they're just, when your villains are the more interesting people, or the people that are supposed to be villains, like the trade minister is on the Japanese side, but is he a bad guy? But then you've got your straight up villains like Obergruppenführer Smith, and people like Keto and that. When they're your most interesting characters, your show's got a problem, a little bit. And again, I'm not dissing this show because I love it. I love the concept. I love the story. But the thing is I also love the story more than I do the actors. And again, when I'm more interested in seeing what the villains are doing than the heroes, there's a problem there. There's a problem with your writing. Now, in season 2, they do change Joe a little bit, and that'll be coming up, and I don't want to spoil that right away. But you have to have something more interesting for these people to do rather than just be hero A and hero B and hero C, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so that's it. So we got alternate realities finally coming to the show. Joe's on his own. Juliana's got the resistance pissed at them. Frank's all upset that Ed's going to be on the execution block. And Wagner is dead, and Hitler is fine and knows about the conspiracy. And Smith has gotten a little bit of control back from Reinhardt. But he still has to deal with his kid. So, anyway, that's it for season 1. Thank you, everybody that watches this. I really like doing this show. I prefer doing reviews for this more than just some of the other ones that, are out there. That's why I pick shows like this, things that don't get that much attention sometimes. And like I said, season 3 is coming pretty soon. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, share, comment, hit the bell for the notifications. We have some good stuff coming up, like Better Call Saul next Monday starts. We've got Disenchantment on Netflix. We got Ozark season 2 from Netflix coming up pretty soon. But Better Call Saul is the main thing. That's going to be my focus, like the one that I'm going to try the hardest to be excellent. So let's, looking forward to doing all that stuff. But we do have Man in the High Castle season 2 starting. I don't know if I'll do an episode for season 2 today or not, but it's possible. So anyway, this is Robert Smirking Gun Review saying, again, thanks for all the support and all the people that watch this. And we will see you on the next video. So, Sieg Heil, everybody. Stupid. Anyway, see you later.